So, this episode is for Hajime no Ippo, season 1, episode 1, round 1, the first step. That's the title of the episode. Characters in the episode: Ippo, Makanouchi, his mama, Takamura, a boxer, Omizawa, a bully, and he has a couple homies with him. Technically, Kamigawa, his Abe Takamura's boxing coach. There you go. He's in the episode, but he's like in a picture. He's not actually physically in the episode. All right, so I'll just go through and give one. Watch the show. Hajime no Ippo. Watch the show. Watch the art. I love the show. The show's dope. Thank goodness. I love the show. I love the show. The show is so sick. So the episode starts Makanouchi's fishing boat rental. It's a high school kid and his mom. You don't know it's a high school kid. I watched a whole bunch of episodes. I just came back, watched the first one multiple times so I can give that, thoughts, theories, questions on them on the whole thing. You feel me? So Makanouchi fishing boat rental. It's Makanouchi and his mom. And it's early in the morning, like 4:30 in the morning. And they have a thing where they have like bait and fishing rods. And what they do is people can bring out their boats. And clearly they can rent out bait and other things they want to bring. And they go out there and they get fish. You know what I'm saying? Get fish for their businesses or, whatever else they need it for. So that's what him and his mom are doing. His pops isn't around. His pops passed away. I think I've only gotten as far as episode 40 something, so I haven't heard anything about his pops. I haven't read the manga. I haven't read the literary version, the OG version of it, so I don't know how his pops passed. But his pops is gone, so it's just him and his mom, no siblings. So they finish that. It takes a lot of effort. You can tell by different clues, which is dope, which I love about the show. You can tell by different details. It's like, oh wow, he's pretty strong. One, he's up early in the morning, so discipline. How many high school kids are up at 4:30? And and he's not, it's not like he has school that early. He just up early as hell. With his mom help, being responsible. Clearly has mental discipline. You know what I'm saying? And they showing him squat, picking up heavy stuff, and moving with it. And so interesting details. But they show that he's a pretty disciplined kid. So then you see him that morning. Later on, he's at his school, Zoshirushi Private High School. Zoshirushi Private High School, and he's a sophomore, I believe. So maybe that's why his class is 2B. But anyway, that's just what it shows on the show. So I wasn't sure why, but sophomore makes sense. So they show him in class, and a group of kids are talking behind him, and they invite you can hear one of the kids has movie tickets to like this I think a driving movie, like an action driving movie or something. So he has like 4 tickets. He invites 3 people, and he's like, I have one more. Makanouchi's right there, Ippo, right? And so they invite Ippo, and Ippo's like, I can't go. My mom has a fishing business, and she has reservations tonight. Like she has to work tonight, so I have to help her out. And so they're like, oh, okay, no problem. And they walk out the class, and then he's sitting there, and you can hear them talking. And they're talking about, and the other kids is like, yeah, he blew me off the other week, or he, and I don't like using that. Sounds like a wild term. He basically rejected my offer to go out too and hang out. And so they were like, oh man, like, what do you think? He's stuck up or something? They're like, no. He's like, I think he gets bullied. And they're like, yeah, I can see why. And it's like, dang, he's getting his feelings hurt. Of course I would too. But clearly he doesn't have like a lot of friends. The guy that's inviting everybody is mentioned that it's the beginning of the school year. So, or the semester, or what? Yeah, I think the school year. So yeah, you can see it's tough for him to make friends. He doesn't have any friends. Then like I said, a couple of the class Mates outside mentioned that they saw him having a rough time with some guys. And so it's like, foreshadowing. But anyways, Ippo, he's on his way home from school, and he's some bullies from behind him. That's Omizawa. That's the character's name I mentioned earlier. Um, him and a couple of his goon henchmen run up on Ippo, and they like basically move out the way. They tried to debo Ippo. You feel me? They tried to roll up like on his bike. Debo, yeah. But they weren't on bikes. They were just walking up. Basically, like, get up out my way. So Ippo was like, yeah, no problem. And then he got upset because Ippo smells like earthworms or lugworms. But he stink because he work. But anyways, the bullies don't care, so they kick it. I mean, they whooping his ass. They kicking him, punching him, smacking him, headbutting him in the face. They took him down to this under freeway pass and just start. And Omizawa was like, bah, 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 and Ippo's like, ding, 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 ding. He's getting binged up, and it's like, dang. And he's like, man, why? And while Ippo's getting beat up, like he has his inner monologue and he's talking and he's like, man, what do you gain out of whooping me, man? Like, I'm weak. Why are you punching me? I have nothing to give you, bro. And while this is happening, Takamura's running, doing his road work, and he looks down, and he's a boxer, and so he looks down, and he sees that he don't know who Ippo is, but he just sees a little dude getting whooped. So he goes down there, and basically he comes through, puts Ippo to the side, like, all right, chill, my G, I got you. You know what I'm saying? You good, son. I mean, he didn't do that, but I'm just saying, like, he's like, yo, you good, son. I got you, B. I'm about to take care of business. So he turns around, and then the bullies are there talking smack, like they about to take him out. And so they try to swing on him, and Takamura hits him with the... And he turns around, and the bullies is like, man, that ain't nothing. And they look down, and my man not only did he dodge their punches, he then took all 3 of their buttons from their shirts. And so he just drops some bad boys like, cling, 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 cling. And they're like, oh, let's get out of here. You feel me? He's on his biff. Okay, McFly. So the bully's gone. So Takamura's like, dang, you know, my man. Well, not. So the bullies leave, and then Ippo's like, man, thank you, you're amazing. And then he blacks out. You know, they knocked him senseless, bro. So he passes out. So then he wakes up. My man's in the gym. And my man Takamura's like, yeah, this is where, you know, closest place that has not Rite Aid, but medical aid stuff, you know, Band-Aids and stuff like that. And, you know, peroxide and stuff that help heal wounds and stuff. And so Ippo's like, thank you. And then Takamura's like, yeah, no problem. He was like, you know what? I hate bullies. But he's like, you know what I hate more? I hate the people that just stand by and just let it happen. And then Ippo was like, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend you. And he starts crying. And so Takamura's like, all right. So he draws Omizawa's face, puts it on the heavy bag, and he's like, all right, hit the bag. So the Ippo goes through, hits the bag. And Takamura's like, I said hit the bag with rage. And so Ippo's like, God, and they're like, okay. And so then Takamura, he gives him some fundamentals. He's like, step through, turn your hips, he's like, turn in your shoulder. He's like, bam, right? And so then Ippo's like, okay. He does it. Wow, my man lifts the heavy bag, obliterates the little drawing my man made of Omizawa. Everybody in the gym didn't turn their heads. Everybody was like, what? So it was like, oh snap, he might have a feel for it, right? My man's freaking, he like bloodies up his knuckles. He busts them boys open. So Takamura takes him to get his hands wrapped, and he's like, dang, kid. He was like, you play sports? He was like, nah, I just help my mom out with her fishing boat business. He's like, oh, wow, well, he's like, you know what? He's like, here, take these tapes. Because, you know, I'm sure he's like, yo, man, like, don't let people just push you around. Like, get some inspiration. Watch these men of legend, right? So then Ippo takes the tapes home. He watches them, and he sees, it's like, yo, this dude's just out here like, bow, bow, bow. Well, first he goes home to help his mom with with their fishing boat business. And she's like, no, you stay here. You should try to make friends. You know what I'm saying? He's like, all right, Mom. So then he goes back, and they live in the fishing boat business, fishing boat rental. That's where they live at. They live at the work. And so then Ippo's watching the tapes, and he's watching them, and the tapes go, people knocking people out and all different types of highlights and stuff. So Ippo's like, oh, I want to be strong. So then he wakes up in the morning, and he goes to school the next day, and he's running late. And he still stops because he sees a boxing magazine in the window. So he's like, you know what? Let me pick it up. Picks it up, takes it to school, reads it, not even paying attention in class. And he's on his way home. He's passing that same spot that he got beat up in, and all he's thinking about is those tapes, the people that are strong. So he just gets determined and just starts sprinting. Goes to the crib, watches them some more, and then they show the next morning, Takamura, that boxer that helped him out, was doing road work in the same spot, right, crossing the same area. And so Ippo was there, and he stops him, and basically lets him know, like, yo, thank you, and I wanna be a boxer. Takamura's like, man, this ain't no like little kitty stuff, bro. I just saw you get your ass handed to you. You can't just wake up one day and want to do this. And Ippo's like, no, I thought about it. And Ippo gets emotional. He's like, I just want to be strong, man, because he's thinking about the bullies. And I didn't even mention this, but the bullies talk trash about his mama. He's getting his butt whooped. And when he talks trash about his mama, he gets determined. But then he's looking at the three dudes that are whooping his butt, and so then he's like, oh, and then basically almost I was like, what? Say something, and then Ippo's like, oh, never mind. So he feels bad about that, right? So he's like, I want to be stronger so I can protect people I love, basically. So then Takamura takes him to this tree. He's like, all right, if you can do this, I'll take you to the gym, teach you how to be a boxer. So then he kicks the tree, Takamura, and then my man gets into a stance, and he's just, so he's grabbing all these leaves out the air. Now, I had to watch this episode a bajillion times to figure out what was really going on, because I was just thinking, okay, so he's grabbing leaves out the air. But what he's really doing is he's grabbing the leaves, and he's grabbing more leaves without dropping the leaves he's already grabbed. And he's not switching hands. He's keeping the leaves in his hand, so he grabbed one. He has one leaf in his hand. He has to grab another one. Now he has two. That's how quick he is. So he's doing that with both hands. And so my man just goes bananas, and Ippo's like, what? And Takamura's like, all right, yo, you know what I'm saying? You got to do that. Got to do that to become a boxer. It's like the end music, kind of. But that's episode 1. So that's like the story. Watch it. Because I can just tell you to watch. I mean, ain't nobody watching these, but I could just tell you to watch it, and you probably not going to watch it. But I had to give you the nice, full, homie rundown synopsis so you know it's worth watching, man. Some interesting things about the episode that come into mind. I mentioned about how he's strong, the details that they write in the show. It's not by accident when I talked about the part where he used the fundamentals, planted his foot, turned his hips, and plowed into the heavy bag. Yeah, it's not by accident. They showed him squatting with a lot of weight. His mom was struggling with this little thing, or not this little thing. His mom was struggling with this heavy, I guess, was it? Not motor, but I don't even know the name for it. But basically, she was struggling with this heavy package, and he added 2 more heavy things onto that package and then picked it up. He has the discipline of getting up because he works at night and in the morning, early in the morning with his mom. So I love that. Just the discipline that it's not just, he's not some guy that was just chilling. He's like, no, he was living a pretty disciplined life. Clearly, he has mental discipline, him and his mom. You can see they work as a unit. They show them in tandem. She's like, lugworm. She throws it at him. He's like, got it. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're this Kobe and Shaq when they, you know what I'm saying? When they handling business. And clearly they're dealing with a lot. She doesn't have her husband. He doesn't have his dad, And they're not being all sad and down. Like, nope. They're being appreciative of what they got. And they're up and at it and working hard and being you know what I mean. I love it. I love it. I love this show because I'm constantly trying to adopt Ippo's attitude. And yeah. So let's see. Any other notes I have about? Let's see. Well, one of the things I noticed, cause then that morning, right, he goes to school. So one of the things I noticed was, cause I was like, oh, okay, like maybe Ippo just told him he couldn't do it, and maybe But then I realized the kids, when they invited him to go see the movie, and he told them that he couldn't because he had to go help his mom work. It's like he told them why. He didn't say, "Nah, I'm good. Go do your thing." Nope, I'm fine. He was like, "I want to go. Thank you for inviting me." He was very surprised and humbled by it. And he was like, I would love to." And then he remembered he has to help his mom work. He's like, "I can't abandon my mom in the business. Like the business needs me and me and her. We are the business." And they still went outside behind his back, loud talking about is he stuck up and I'm like, yo, he's working, dog. He has to be an adult sooner than you, bro. But yeah, just something I noticed. And now Ippo, the cool part about Ippo is he wasn't even blaming him. Literally, in the next scene, he's like, "It's very nice of them to invite me. I wish I wasn't so awkward, but I can't imagine ditching the family business to hang out." You know what I mean? Like he still was like being positive and nice about it. So I know from that, I'm like, all right, let me calm down myself. You feel me? I'm not even going through that, and I was getting hot. And Ippo was like, "No, I'm good. Chill." So yes, dope. I noticed when Ippo was getting his butt whooped by Omizawa and his two goons, because like I said, I watched to like episode 40 something. I noticed that when he was recovering in the gym afterward, it was like his first fight. I wasn't putting that together the first few times I watched it, but it was like, oh, this is literally like his. Now he had been bullied by those dudes. They mentioned later on in later episodes, I think, for 11 years. You know what I'm saying? But ironically, he was Malcolm Gladwell. He got his 10,000 hours in standing back up. Literally, he got more than 10 years, 11 years of constantly standing back up because he had to. So it's like, oh, I guess he might be the one. No. Right now, that's what I love about the show. He seems like the simple dude, humble. You know what I'm saying? He's not trying to be the one or the greatest. He just wants to be strong. He just wants to be strong to protect the ones he loves. So, yeah, Ippo's dope. But yeah, when he recovered, it was like, oh wow, that he was already recovering like a boxer after he got KO'd. Let's see. I mean, maybe I'm sure I'll mention it again, but I remember I don't know what episode it was. There's like a flashback of when Coach Kumagawa found Takamura, the boxer, and he found him, and it was almost like on some Rocky stuff. Like he found him. I think he was like being like a muscle maybe for a mobster or something, or he was just robbing some fools or whooping some fools' butt. But Kumagawa, I think Kumagawa Jim found him. I'll say Coach K. The original Coach K, you feel me? But Coach K found him, and I'm wondering if that's why when Takamura saved Ippo from those bullies, he didn't beat him up, because I was thinking, why not hit him? And one, that shows that he's good, because you do want to avoid the fight. That's smart. But that's like rule number 1 of martial arts, is if you don't have to fight, don't. If you don't have to use any of the stuff you've learned, perfect. Things are going good. It's the joke of life. I love it. So yeah, one obviously that principle, and I think another one is, I mean, he knows, like, I don't want to get back in that life. I'm not trying to go have them hit up their homies and then escalate the situation. I gotta run through here all the time. So, and I probably seen them before and just didn't realize those guys were beating up Epo or that kid. He doesn't even know him like that yet. But yeah, so I thought that was smart and a good detail. It's like, yeah, no, don't have him hit him. That's not the point. It's not the point. Show them that they're not in this league. You know what I'm saying? Hit them with the quick dodge moves. Take the buttons off their shirt. Let them know. Go ahead. Just go ahead. We don't want to escalate this. Yeah, I won't say nothing if you won't. So yeah, cool. Cool thing about the show. What else? Well, one thing reminded me of David Goggins. So the part where he gets beaten up under that freeway pass, that same path he takes home from school, and that next day after he got his butt whooped, I mean literally after he got knocked out, he got whooped so bad he was knocked out, that next day he was walking upon that home after school, coming upon that same underpass. And I love it. He was thinking about, they show him flashback, thinking about all those like Men of Legend boxing videos, the compilations where he's seeing people knocked out and being strong. And he's getting so determined and he just starts sprinting home. And it made me think of a David Goggins story in You Can't Hurt Me, where he talks about, I think, I don't know if it was like I can't even call it, but I think it was like a story where like some white guys ran up, like drove down on him and called him like nigger or something. And then I think he was like, came upon that same pathway or street or whatever and went back and ran on it or something. And to show he wasn't afraid, to show that it wasn't going to make him cower. I'm sure I'm butchering the story, but the principle was the same, and it paralleled, I felt, Epo in the show. You go back to the same spot that should make you cower. This is where, I mean, lights out, bro. They whooped his ass to lights out, and he was able to walk right back past that area and go, I still want to be strong. I want to be strong to be able to do something about this, to fight back. Love the show. Love the show. Let's see. I wrote here, I think when he was watching the videos, the two Men of Legends, Volume 1 and Volume 2 videos, he was using the VCR. Shout out to the VCR. And it was like, said it was like 8:35 p.m. And that just made me think, because he has to help his mom, right? So he's probably going to help her clean the boat after they all come back. Because this is when he just lets his mom go off with their night reservation. And I guess whoever else rented the boat, she went off and did the fishing thing. And so he was going to stay back. But I don't think he just goes straight to sleep. I think when they come back, I think he helps her clean, and she does, most of the work. But I think he helps her out a little bit. But all that to say, it's not like he's just chilling and can go to sleep at, 7 or 8 cozy and wake up at 4:30. It's like, no, he gets up at 4:30 and he's probably up until 10. I doubt he's always staying home to watch these videos, especially since his mom has to remind him to go out and have friends, because he's so committed to his mom, his family. So I love that. Let's see. So one thing I love about the show, and I'll mention it now just because it's part of the outro. The outro shows a bunch of different fighters you haven't met yet. You see Takamura, you see Ippo, but even now you don't even know he's going to be a fighter yet. But I love it shows the boxers, doing their outside of boxing jobs. You know, Kimura runs a flower shop who ends up being one of the boxers in the gym. Aoki cooks noodles, a ramen shop. You know what I'm saying? Who else? They show a few other characters that have their jobs outside of boxing, which I love. I understand boxing's so tough. You don't want to have to work another job, but it just shows one, the love of the sport, how committed, how pure, how, you know, not to get a type of weird social status that's not to do with the meritocracy of boxing. Trying to become a star or whatever, and they show in the show people have different motivations for doing what they do. So it's not to take to poo poo any one motivation over another. But I just love the idea that all these warriors are humble enough to go ahead and work, not to try to catch an attitude or to be upset about life, because it's like, yeah, it's tough, but life isn't easy, and they all focus on what they have, and the fact that they are able to work. I love it. I love that attitude. I love it. I don't think it's my mistake that when I think about that, it's like, oh yes, it's peaceful, it's soothing, it's relaxing. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing something to push myself to be the best I can be, as opposed to I need to be the number one this so I can be seen here and get this sponsorship or get this. And not to hate on it, I just allow myself to get brainwashed by all the messaging. That's all. And that just means I watch too much of it. But all that to say, all these characters are like so different, but they're like so real. You feel me? Especially living today. These characters ain't looking at their phones. They not. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them are just so focused doing this boxing thing and working this other job. It's like, they don't have time to get distracted. There you go. They don't have time to get distracted. So love it. Love it. Watch the show. Watch the show. Let's see. Anything else? Anything else? Oh, I was thinking of something that I was going to mention. Well, one, I dig the animation. I've taken a couple boxing classes, so I'm not going to presume to know how the science and how everything works. But having been in a couple classes, and then, of course, watching the behind-the-scenes Showtime episodes of like a Mayweather, a Maidana fight or Canelo or anything, and especially watching highlights and training of like a Muhammad Ali or Marvin Hagler and Tommy Hearns. It's dope to see the animation mimic, the boxing gym. You see people using certain exercise equipment, and it's like, yeah, wow, they did totally had to. You don't do that by accident, so you had to animate that, and it's impressive. I just have to show them love, because that's dope. That you could tell the heavy bag when they hitting the heavy bag moves like the heavy bag. The speed bag, you know what I'm saying, moves like the speed bag. It's cool to see. And there was something else I was gonna. Oh, just because I think this is like I guess the thesis of the show almost. So Ippo was feeling very down, and he was like, Takamura was like, "Hey, you should join the gym. You should become a boxer, so you can show those bullies what's up, bro. You clearly have a point." And this is right after he wraps his hand up from hitting the heavy bag, annihilating the heavy bag. And Ippo's like, "Nah, I don't know. Like, you saw me. I'm the person that gets beat up." And I love this because this is the thesis of the show. And Takamura basically responds, and he's like, "Well, it's gonna stay the same. It can't change if you don't do anything about it. Can you honestly say that you're okay with not doing nothing about it?" And he was like, no, I'm not okay with that. But I thought, I love that. You know what I'm saying? If you're in a place in life that you don't like, do something about it. Now, clearly, I don't mean do something that's not constructive or hurt somebody or break the law. Heck no. But use your means, use your discipline, use your fight. Be patient, plan it out, do something about it. I love that. And that's me talking to me. But I love that. Do something about it. Don't complain just to complain. What life do I want to live? And let me start taking those steps. So, and this is the anime show. You feel me? I love this show. My dad calls these cartoons, he calls everything cartoons. He calls Transformers cartoons because of CGI. Cartoons. You like them cartoons? Superhero movies? All superhero movies are cartoons. Y'all watching them cartoons? And this is them cartoons, but guess what? Cartoons is life. Like ball is life. Tunes is life. So watch it. Round one, the first step. Coming with the second round two. Is Ippo gonna catch the leaves? I wonder. I just said I watched episode 40 something. I wonder if he's gonna catch the leaves in episode 2. Hey, to be fair though, this is like if it was like a Matrix show and the episode ended right after Neo jumped from, remember he had to do the test from one ledge to the other. If the episode stopped after he jumped from the ledge before he landed, it's possible you think, well, there's more episodes. Of course he has to make it to the other side. And Neo doesn't, remember? He falls and lands into the ground. And he does the wild trampoline, but then he come back up and... So, maybe Ippo does catch the leaves. Maybe he doesn't. But watch the show. I love it. Watch the show. George Morikawa. I'm butchering everybody's name, but I'll be saying these names enough to where you'll see them transform over time into correct pronunciations. Watch the show, though. Hajime no Ippo. And fight. Go out there and fight. Attack. Fight. It's tough. The obstacles you face, you tired. I know you tired from work and all that stuff. Fight. Fight. It's round one. Fight. Fight. Don't let life hit you with a KO. All right, peace.